So, motivational speaker and author Taming Tiger Jim Lawless with us today. Thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
So, we're in Kyiv now. And my first question, so logical, what is the purpose of your visit? Why you decided to come to Ukraine, and what is your first impression about country?
That's a big question. My purpose is friendship. I think when a friend is having a bad day, then you visit. And I became friends with Ukrainians really through the book. I've had the most extraordinary emails, DMs on Instagram in response to people who've read the book. So when the war grew and things became more difficult, I was really keen to come. It's taken a while, but I've managed to make it. My first impression is of just inspirational courage. I think what people outside of Ukraine perhaps don't understand is that everyone's going about their lives. They're taking their children to school, they're doing normal things. And to watch that whilst the sirens are going off and whilst people are managing that pressure as well. And then, of course, the horror of people going to the front line to defend. All of that just leaves you with the most incredibly moving impression of courage. Determination.
I also know that you had a bad experience in Lviv, where did you was on weekends that they Russia launched drones and missiles, and you even spent a lot of time in bomb shelter with Ukrainians. What did you feel at that moment? Did anybody help you? Maybe somebody said what's going on? Because you know, in Ukraine we have special app where we can see what's going on.
So first of all, it was easy for me. I had an underground shelter in the hotel. I think we were very safe there. So it was very easy. And of course, for me also, I have a home somewhere else to go to. So this is not an ongoing thing for me. So it was incredibly easy. The friendship though, so I was even in the middle of the night, my neighbor, we were sitting in a long line in a corridor. My neighbor beside me, Tatiana, went off upstairs to find coffee for herself, for her friend and for me. We hadn't even spoken. She came down, just offered me coffee. Then we began to speak. I had a wonderful volunteer from the book forum, Yulia. Yulia had come all the way to Poland to find me and then bring me back across the border. She spent maybe 12 hours traveling just to find me, to bring me in. During the shelter, during the air raid, she was texting me every 10 minutes. But she was in her bathroom with her tiny daughter. She wasn't in the position of safety that I had. And yet, still, she was checking that I was okay, sending me translations from the app of where the drones, and on that night also the ballistic missiles were coming from and where they're going to. I experienced incredible kindness.
But you did not hear some explosion from bomb shelter, yeah?
The floor was vibrating and the noise was very loud. But I don't think we were near the center of what was happening. So for other people in Lviv, where the real damage was, the situation was completely different. But even in the shelter, it was extremely clear the level of violence that was being unleashed upon civilians.
But can I ask you about your plan in Kyiv? Maybe you have some plan to meet with somebody or to see something special.
Well, really, my plans today are just to work with the bookshops and my publisher's Bookchef to meet as many people as possible. All of the royalties of my book in Ukraine go to Unbroken and to Gen Ukrainian. So I'm not here to sell a book. I'm here with friendship, and I'd like just to spend as much time as I can with friends today. As I mentioned, the messages that I received regarding the book and the connect. I think with books are so special because they create a thread between one mind and another mind through words. It's a beautiful thing that we have with books, and that connection, I think, between the experiences I've had and shared and now the experiences my readers have had is important. So I'm here for that. I'm here to show friendship. I'm here also because there was an event earlier this year which was cancelled. That was not my decision. I was asked to come. I agreed a fee, which was to go to Gen Ukrainian and Unbroken. and then the event was cancelled. I don't know why, but the publicity was it was cancelled for my safety, and then it became that I was scared to come. So it's been really important to renew that promise that I made to come, but I was unable to come, and now to make sure that that promise was kept.
I know that you faced this tsunami of criticism because of this visit. What did your family say to you when you said them that I went to Ukraine?
About the criticism or about coming to Ukraine?
About your decision to come anyway.
So this was very interesting. My family were completely supportive. I have an 11-year-old daughter. You might think she would be worried about her father going to Ukraine. No, we spoke about the fact that the Ukrainian people are living, the children are going to school, she's going to school, she understands what that means, and so she knows what my work is, she knows that I have friends across the world because of my work, very supportive. Interestingly, the only people who said, oh, you mustn't go to Ukraine, were clients who didn't think and didn't understand, so it's been really important on LinkedIn, on Instagram, to share the story of being here, the friendship, the kindness, the reality of life for Ukrainian people, and also how you're just getting on with your job.
Can I ask also about Lviv? I heard from your post in Instagram that, not from Instagram, from interview here, that you were planning to visit rehabilitation center in Lviv. Did you manage to do that?
Yes, I did. And of all the things, if anything made me nervous about coming on this visit, not that it would have ever stopped me, it was that. I really wanted to go, but I was nervous to meet the reality of what people have gone through. And so I was deeply moved by the men. I only met men, patients there, by the men, by their brotherhood, how they cared for each other, by their honesty about their fears, about how they use art and song and music to help come back to being more human. The scientists and the level of care that has been provided at Unbroken, from the design to make it a beautiful environment for people, a very homely environment and less medical, all the way through to the cutting edge medical equipment, was inspirational to see. So it was a difficult but wonderful moment to go and share some time with the people at Unbroken. I then went and spent a very short time with the mayor of Lviv, Andrei, in the evening, and again his passion for Unbroken, his passion for supporting all aspects of Lviv and Ukraine, but also the mental health. He was almost like a grandfather thinking, how can I care for these people? And that seemed incredibly genuine.
Totally agree with you. Their resilience changed my perspective too, because sometimes, to be honest, I also feel that my life isn't going as well as I'd like. And in this time I can speak or just watch video how our soldiers recovering from their injuries, and it makes me realize how small my own problems are, to be honest.
Thank you. It's very, very true, and more for us. So, it really puts things into perspective. Also, while I was here, I watched a documentary on the television about Olena, the warrior, the female warrior who I understand has become well known. And so even when the physical injuries are not apparent, it's clear watching her, the mental cost has just been enormous. So yes, it puts our struggles into a different light.
I also wanted to talk more about your experience, because you've worked with a lot of companies from different countries across their different interests. And what about Ukrainians organization? Maybe you have some request to collaborating with them, or you have some opinion how to do it?
Thank you. So my work falls into two parts. Well, I write, that's one part, and then I speak on a stage for the people of the organization around change and leaving the comfort zone and disruption and uncertainty, with a very clear map of how we can do that. And then I work with the leaders to help them to lead the organization into change, uncertainty and higher performance. I don't have any relations with Ukrainian companies at present, and I certainly haven't come for commercial reasons. But what I would like to say to Ukrainian leaders in business and to Ukrainian people, if you were sitting in my audience in Berlin or California, Dubai, you could give the presentation I give. Right? You've gone into uncertainty and disruption and created rapid adaptation, responses to threat and challenge. You're teaching the world how to do this. Now, I know that's not what you wanted, but if we can see any ray of sunshine for the economy of Ukraine, you're famous, you're loved, you're in huge respect for how you have responded, for your ability to change and to adapt. These are superpowers in the world of change that I see in the rest of the world every day. So I would just say that there is an enormous positivity somewhere in this. When this passes and the future comes, have your heads high and your chests large, because what you've learned here you can teach the world, and it will be a superpower in your own businesses.
What do you think, which skills or qualities will define truly successful leaders over these decades? Yeah.
So we have a problem definitely in politics, which is a lack of commitment to building a future. So we're just surviving and we're saying what people want us to hear. I'm not speaking about any nation in particular, and most certainly not about Ukraine. So that is a real difficulty. So leaders of the future in politics, and most certainly, but they're already doing it in business because they have to bring people somewhere. They can't just tax them, they have to take them. So business leaders can already teach politicians how to set a clear and exciting place that we're going to go, and then connecting everybody to building that, and then giving them permission. This is the hard part, giving away decision-making power to people to build that. And there they need clear instruction, they need boundaries so they understand where they can build and where they cannot build. They need to understand their role in the creation. But then we need to encourage them, give them courage, give them confidence to build. I think coming back, and that's a global theme, leaders need to be able to do that, and people then need to say, okay, I have the power, I'll build. And we don't want to, we want to wait for the instruction, then it's not my fault, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that's where it's very exciting watching how you've had to adapt and change so fast here. Those skills on both sides have been built.
But how organization can prepare for the future when this future feels so uncertain?
Because there's a really important question, there's a really clear answer. If we're building for an uncertain future, you can be certain that we need to build an organization that is able to adapt fast, with courage, in order to build the future. So we need adaptability, we need courage, we need ownership. Now, most organizations I won't speak for Ukraine now, it's different, you're changing, but outside in the world, don't have adaptability. They have a rigid command and control structure. I pull the levers and I tell you and you listen. And so that, and the people also are used to this. We wait for the instructions. So all over the world, if we are building for uncertainty, we have to change that organization. Then we can move very quickly in order to respond with courage to do things without even asking the chief executive, because we know what our place is. So the more uncertain the future, the more certain we need adaptability and courage to be able to build.
So go where it's scary. Yeah. It's the main idea of your book, and it's relevant to Ukrainians in 2022, because then all of us, all of our society, civilian, military, government, also presidents, we all had to step to unknown. But it was in 2022. till now, during 3.5 years of full-scale invasion, a lot of us feel exhausted. So we are exhausted. That's true. So maybe you have some pieces of advice for Ukrainians.
The book in the rest of the world is called Taming Tigers. And the tiger is that emotional force, the imposter syndrome, the heart rate, the changes in our emotions that tell us to pull back, when really we know that to write the story we want to be proud of, it's time to move forward. So taking that idea of the tiger, which stops us going where it is scary in the translation, I think is a cornerstone to finding that resilience. The tiger will roar when we want to put our arms out to our friends. The tiger will roar when you want to bring a coffee to somebody, but you don't know them, and they might, roar. That we can be honest about this, that you can be honest about this together and support each other. Resilience isn't about the strength to go and, it is in part, but the resilience you're speaking about, the everyday person's resilience, comes from friendship, comes from an absolute confidence that this will end, and it will end in the way that you need it and want it to end. And when I watch your president speak, I have no doubt about that. When I watch, this is something that Ukrainians perhaps don't get to see and feel, is that when your president goes out to the world, when sometimes other leaders are rude to Volodymyr Zelensky, whatever the politicians may be doing, the people of the world are, no, that's a red line for us. So there is a huge support and there are amongst the people of the world. And I have no doubt that this will end precisely as you need it and want it to end.
That's important to understand and important to believe, I guess, too. And my last question for you, what about, as you said, the part of your life is writing a book, yeah? Do you have any plan to write another one, another bestseller?
So next year I'll write a book called Dare. D-A-R-E. Dare because we live in a time where we need to find the courage to dare to do things. The world needs love, it needs friendship, it needs more respect, and it needs the courage to stand and be certain of victory in the face of aggression. So dare comes from the idea that we write the story of our lives. Of course, things happen that we did not ask for, but how we respond, how we fight, how we give friendship and love, that is for us. So we write our story with our decisions and our actions, and they build our results. But if we want a different result, and many of us do, we have to take different decisions and actions. And as soon as we do that, all of our evolution makes us want to pull back. So we tell a story about how we cannot do things, but now we live in an age where we need to push the old story to one side and find the courage to move. Dare is about how do we do that. So that will come out next year, and if that is of interest to the publishers of Ukraine, then I hope we'll get to share our stories together again. And I say share because people write to me. I get the most beautiful words from your defenders on the front line and from the people around the whole of Ukraine.
So we have a news, and we'll wait for your book. And now I thank you for your time and thank you for your friendship and for your visit.
It's been a great pleasure to be with you, and don't doubt that this will end in victory.
Thank you.
Thank you.